Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 26 shows Sarada and Sumire talking to Ada about their crush on Boruto, and it's them talking about liking Boruto that eventually Ada deduces, or she figures out that, like, you guys aren't affected by my charm ability, are you? And then Damon attacks them, and then that's where the chapter ends. So I think in that moment, what's important or what's crucial about it is that Sarada herself, she should have anticipated this. She should have thought about it. But when you're talking about feelings, when you're talking about likes and dislikes, when you're talking about full honesty and transparency, like, I don't know, I guess it was just kind of second nature, or she's charting unground, she doesn't know what she's doing here. She's never been in this position where she's been this honest or upfront about her feelings or what she feels. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the sweet part about all of this, is that this is a new experience for her. And on some kind of level, her denial was logically helping her. You know what I mean? It was the smart thing to do, to hold back. And it's the irresponsible and emotional response that gets her in trouble. So when she was lying and being calculating and smart and not really fully accepting herself, she was able to deceive Ada. Her and Sumire were able to, like, deceive Ada or keep it on the down low that they're not affected by her charm ability. But then once she's actually open and honest and vulnerable and talking about how she feels or liking Boruto and all this other stuff, it all starts to be like, they start to find out that, like, oh, it's a sham. It's not, Ada decides to realize that you can't like Boruto and then be affected by my charm ability. That doesn't work. And I think if Sarda had thought about her feelings, or had more time to kind of focus on them or think about them, as opposed to, like, immediate, call over to Ada, right? Because she just expressed her feelings for Boruto to Sumire. And I guess it's different for like Shikamaru or like Sasuke or like Naruto, who are married, right? Because they don't they're not affected by her charm ability in the same way that maybe like Konohamaru or Mitsuki is. Like, they fall in love with her, but I guess Shikamaru, Sasuke, and Naruto, they get more like discombobulated. They're more confused. They're not, quote unquote, in love with her. They don't have like a crush on her. It's more so like they can't think straight, or they can't like operate in the same normal way. You know what I mean? So it's kind of one of those, and it's a bit odd. You know what I mean? But for them, I'm just saying that, like, in that moment, Sarada, she should have taken the time to, like, really sit with this and think about, like, what kind of ramifications this thing would have. You know what I mean? But it all happened so quickly, She just told Sumire. She just finally got through with being honest. She was finally open about her feelings. And then Ada calls her over and she's like, oh yeah, let me talk about this situation or this scenario. And it totally is in line with what Ada would do, where she's like, let's talk about boys. Let's talk about this. Let's be gal pals, and let's do this and let's do that. You know what I mean? And they didn't really think or consider the idea of, like, I gotta hide this. You know what I mean? So I think it would have been a real stroke of genius if Sarada had taken the time to think about it and then actually, like, play into the charm. You know what I mean? But because they've been so immune to it, and for the past 3 years they haven't really been around Boruto, or haven't had any of these feelings like pop back up, or this kind of conflict, or this kind of emotional weight, on them, or these feelings like rise up to the surface until now, then they were able to, like, tuck it away. But, I think it's more so like now they have to think about how to, I don't know, they have to think about, how do I deal with the situation, or how do I deal with this particular scenario now that the truth is revealed. You know what I mean? And it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with it, how Sarada and Sumire kind of, like, talk their way out of it, because that's all they can do now. So, that I know. What do I know? But if she was like prepared for it, I kind of would have liked it to see her like go all goo goo gaga for Ada a little bit, just to sell into it. You know what I mean? If she had thought about it for a moment, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that if Sarada had like had more time to kind of reflect on her feelings and her thoughts on the matter, she would be able to think about like, oh, we can't openly confess our feelings about Boruto in front of Ada, because then she'll realize that we don't like her? Do you think that it would have happened either way? You know what I mean? And then how are they going to deal with it now? You know what I mean? Let me know what you guys think. How in chapter 27, Sarada's going to like, oh snap, I just revealed it. You know what I mean? Now what are we going to do? You know what I mean? I'm interested to see what you guys think. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Yeah.